which I now call to order. I'm going to call a roll to establish who's present. Commissioner Richardson, are you here?
Present.
Commissioner Killeen, are you here? I swear I saw him earlier.
I see him.
Mike, are you here? You're
I am,
muted.
yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. Commissioner Weber, are you here?
Present.
Commissioner Allen, are you here?
Present.
Commissioner Robinson, are you here and not driving?
I am here. Unfortunately, I am driving.
Okay, let's keep. You want to turn your video off and turn it on
Yes,
when you
I
vote?
am. Yes.
Thank you. I am present. Alderman Coder, are you here? Commissioner Hamilton, are you here? I do not hear their responses. I mark them as excused and absent. Okay, commissioners. Who has read the minutes for August 23rd, September 27th, and October 25th? And
I
would
have.
like to make a motion.
I've read them all and I move to approve.
Is there a second? Is there any
I have
discussion?
I have corrections.
Ready?
Okay, the minutes from August 23rd, the header on each page says they're from July 26th. And then item B also refers to July 26th when I think it means August 23rd. And finally, David Richardson was not present at the August 23rd meeting, but it says he was.
So Barb, what would the amendments to the minutes be?
The amendment would be if, I believe that was Mr. Killeen, if he would choose to do so, to amend to correct the dates on the header of those minutes to reflect the correct August, September, November dates, and to show that David Richardson is not present on the August 23rd meeting.
I agree to these amendments to my motion.
Who
And I
seconded the
don't think
motion?
we had a second.
Is there a second to the motion?
So moved.
Weber seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none. I'm going to call a roll because Bob Burkett says I have to call a roll. Commissioner Richardson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Chair votes yes also. Thank you, commissioners. The minutes are approved. Commissioners, take a look at the agenda. Does anybody have any changes, additions, comments, or do they need to recuse themselves for any of these items? Okay, this will then be our agenda and we can begin it calling agenda item A 4261 Westminster Place.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just a few comments for the benefit of the board members as well as members of the public. This meeting is being recorded, and anyone wishing to speak, if you would please put your name and the agenda item in the chat. That way we will know when that agenda item comes up that we need to call on you. Comments posted in the chat box do not count as public comments, only verbal comments do. And I will begin sharing my screen.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Jan Cameron from the Cultural Resources Office.
Okay,
And,
let's, where are you from, Jan?
The last I looked, I was at Cultural Resources.
Okay.
This is a preliminary review application to construct a two-family building at this corner site in the Central West End District. It is at the corner of Westminster Place and Boyle. Next, please. Next slide. I lost my slide person. Okay, here's the site, and you can see that it is at the extreme northern edge of the historic district, which is indicated by the yellow shading, and it is also directly across from Fullerton's Westminster Place, which is, in addition to being part of the district, a National Register district. Next, please. And this is the proposed building. It will be two-family, as I said, one on the first floor, one on the second floor. It conveys, complies actually, rather than conveys, complies with the initial setback from Westminster and also from Boyle. There is no garage. There will be parking at the alley, and that will be the access to parking from the alley. So there are no curb cuts. It is an unusual design. Next, please. And this is it. It is basically 2.5 stories. We have worked very closely with the designers to bring the initial presentation that they sent us into more compliance with the historic district standards. The standards at the Central West End are not extensive for new construction, but they do require certain elements of compatibility with the existing fabric of the block on which the building is being constructed. And it complies now, as you see it, with exactly every standard that's part of the district standards. So that would be height, scale, and mass, the location on the site, the exterior materials. There'll be 4 sides of brick, the fenestration, which is double hung and vertical. Other than that, it is in compliance, and the staff is recommending approval, therefore. If we could go to the next one, please. Here you can see it in the context of the block. What is different about this building? It is a very contemporary design, and it is more, it is less elaborate than most of the historic examples on the block. But you can see how it fits in scale-wise and height-wise. Next. This is the side elevation that faces Boyle. Again, it complies with the fenestration requirements. Next. And we're looking back at this site now. We're looking southeast from Boyle. Next. And now we're looking northeast from the corner of Boyle and Westminster on the left. And here are the houses that are directly adjacent on the east to the property. So the design of the building is very different, and yet it complies with the requirements of the standards for fitting into the context of the block. Next. I'm not going to belabor these, but we're proceeding now from the corner site, the project site, and proceeding east along Boyle. And you can see as we go along, next, Meg, you could just go through these fairly quickly, that there is new construction towards the eastern end of the block. The original historic pattern has been affected. There are differences between the building, the side yards of the buildings, but they're generally all 2 or 2.5 stories. Okay. And this is the end. This is at the end of the block. So given the context of the block, given the fact that in general the building complies, and given also the fact that I have to say that the designers have been very willing to compromise and to try to listen to the staff's opinion of how we could bring this more into context, the staff is recommending the board grant preliminary approval. Now, you should have all received a copy of the Central West End Planning and Development Committee letter regarding this project earlier today. Very briefly, I'm just going to summarize it. It says that this is Jay Dwyer, the chair of the committee, writes that the memorandum is to advise the Preservation Board of the recommendations of the Central West End Planning and Development Committee. They agree that it is generally compliant with the historic standards, but they wish to express concerns regarding certain aspects of the design that may make long-term maintenance issue, and that is primarily the brick surrounds. Meg, if you could go back to the very first slide where we see the new design, that would be the projecting enfranements around all the windows and some of the other brick elements such as the walls and planter areas. So are there any questions?
Questions, commissioners? Commissioner Weber?
Could you speak to the parking again, please?
There will be 4 parking spaces entered from the alley behind the house.
Thank you.
Further questions from commissioners? Commissioner
Yes.
Allen?
Yes, does the staff have a problem with those brick surrounds? Or is the staff comfortable with that?
Well, it is not addressed under the current Central West End standards.
Okay, thank you.
Any word from the alderman, Jan?
We have not.
Further questions from commissioners? Commissioners, this does not seem to be particularly controversial. We have the applicant architect here. Let me call them forward now, and if you have questions for them, you can ask your questions.
I believe they have a short presentation they would like to run through.
Is it contrary to yours? Will they recommend that we not approve it?
I doubt it.
Okay, let's go with questions then. Questions for the applicant?
No questions.
Commissioner Killeen?
Guys, have you considered what Jim Dwyer had to say? And have you got any kind of maintenance plan to have those brick extensions hold up over the years?
Yeah, I mean, we're still in kind of a schematic level with our detailing, but we have been in conversations with the Missouri Brick Company and John Smith, who is a local brick installer. And they've both been helping us develop our details around the brick.
And specifically around waterproofing and freezing and thawing, which I think specifically Mr. Dwyer brought up. But yes, very much something that we will be very focused on when we're doing our detailing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have the appropriate flashing at the roof parapet, a vented cavity to deter and kind of manage water if it comes in, and we'll be sloping the brick appropriately.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Any other commissioners have questions?
Just one
Yes.
question of curiosity for the architects. What are some of the architectural precedents you looked at for the design? I think this is a really interesting use of brick masonry as the window surround. And I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, I think as Jan pointed out, it is unusual design, maybe for this area and this street. I think we really did take into account the context, especially on this side of Westminster. And so, just a few houses down, there are brick surrounds that have this sort of corbelling that extends out, especially around the entrance, which you can sort of see it on the image on the right around the window at the base and around the top window. And so the size of the window openings and then that actual detail, we thought really nicely, offset the windows from the facade. And we have a relatively simple building envelope and building massing. And so that was trying to give it a little bit more ornament to allow it to align with some of the context.
Well, thank you. I was expecting an example from 50 to 60 years ago, but you've taken me even further back, over 100 years. So I think you've done your homework.
Commissioners, further questions? Okay, Commissioners, the staff recommendation is to grant preliminary approval, subject to review of final documents, design details, and materials by CRO. Do I hear a motion? Commissioner Richardson,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I'm going to call a roll. Commissioner Richardson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Colleen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Chair abstains from the vote. The motion carries. Thank you, commissioners. And congratulations to the applicant. Let's do agenda item
Thank you.
4145 Lafayette.
Dan Cameron of the Cultural Resources Office. This poor building has already been approved for demolition. It was approved by the board as a package of 6 buildings for UIC, where they intended to construct new houses. The board approved that in April of 2017. The others have all been completed. This is the last of the project. The reason that we're bringing it to you, however, is because the proposed design has changed. So what the board initially saw for this site is not what is proposed currently. Next. And this is its location. And you can see that, I guess maybe you can't see because the colors are rather faint, but this is at the extreme south of the North I-44 Historic District. That's the highway that you see toward the bottom. And this is a very visible block along from the highway and has a number of good arts and crafts examples. Next. This is the proposal. I will say that while the board has never seen this design before, it has been approved by the previous director during the pandemic when there were certain new construction projects that he decided did not need to have board review. So this is the proposal. Next, we'll show you the exterior colors and masonry materials. And if we go to the next one, Meg. The staff is, given that the design has been approved, and then there is in fact another building almost identical within a few doors of this site. The only requirements that the staff is asking, which was not adhered to in the previous construction approval, is that there be larger returns on the south elevation so that the buildings do appear to be brick, because although the standards for North I-44 for new construction, again, are even less stringent than the Central West End standards for new construction, they do say that any new building should be compatible with exterior materials with the historic buildings, which means, of course, brick. And if we could go on, I think I could. Oh, just to show you the condition of the building in case anyone had any questions about whether or not it was salvageable. Next. The building on the left, currently under construction, is the identical model. And I think if you can see the side elevation, there really is no return on that side at all. That's a design element, and it's intentional. But the staff feels that it's more important that this present itself as a brick building. We lost that opportunity in this site, but we'd like to see it on the next. Next. And then again, this is the context around the site. You can go quickly through these, Meg. Just show that there's the house that we were speaking of on the right. So contextually, it fits in with scale and mass and everything. It's just basically the material that the staff has a concern with. And this is just general views of Lafayette. along the highway. The highway would be to the left of most of these slides. So, and the board has seen most this design certainly a couple of years ago. So the staff is recommending approval, or the preliminary approval, with the stipulation that there be more extensive brick returns on both the east and the west facades. Question?
Commissioners, questions for staff?
How far do you want those returns to go back, Jan?
Well, generally, when we approve new construction in historic districts, we ask that it go back as far as the distance between the buildings. And that way, when one walks up the street, you see that it really does appear to be a fully brick building.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Commissioner Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jan, I think I heard you say that we missed an opportunity for the return on something, and now we're going to put it in here. My question is there a process to make sure it's in all the future ones? Or do we just have to remember this each time?
Well, this is, as I said, this is our typical requirement for infill construction, is that the brick returns sufficiently, this pretty much the same distance between the new building and the adjacent buildings. If there's no adjacent building, then we ask for a fully brick facade.
Right,
So
but
that
I guess, go ahead, I'm sorry.
it was approved again by the director, the previous director, and I am not going to stand up for his decision.
No, I understand, but the board passed the decision, so I was
So
just
the board
hoping.
did not see that. I need to
Okay.
clarify that. That was something that the director approved at the staff level. So that's why we brought this to you. Had this been approved by the board previously, we wouldn't have brought it back to you, but it was not.
But my question really is, should we develop a process so it doesn't sneak by the next time, or should we not?
I think that, and Meg can go into this further if she wants to, but I think that the idea now is that the board will see all new construction projects in future. A lot of that had to do with the pandemic, and we were under a lot of stress, and we were all working remotely, and so.
Okay.
Further questions, commissioners, for staff?
Yes, thank you. Jan, this applicant has, built quite a few infill buildings in this historic district. How do you think they've met the preferred staff approach to the returns that you mentioned?
I would imagine that that was not the major consideration. Yeah, I think that not returning the brick on the eastern elevation is a design decision.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Further questions? Meg, I don't see anybody in the chat signed up to speak on this project.
We have no one that's signed in to the chat, but I'm not sure. There are a couple names in the room that I don't recognize. Perhaps they are here for this project.
Is there anyone here from UIC? Okay. Staff recommendation is to grant preliminary approval to the proposed subject to approval of final plans, details, and exterior materials by CRO. In the absence of the applicant, does anyone care to make that motion?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I would make that motion with the addition to it that both the east and west brick returns are to be installed per, with a distance back from the corner as far as the distance between the adjacent building and the new building. Or, Jan, I don't know if we can just say that's a detail that can be worked out with staff, so poor Barbara doesn't have to write that.
I think we would prefer to have at least the brick returns be extended in the decision. And then we
Okay.
could worry about the distance after that.
Okay, that the brick returns be, then I'll amend that to say as written there in the agenda with the addition of with brick returns extended per staff direction.
On both sides.
Both sides, yes, sir.
Commissioner Weber, was that also a second?
Second,
Thank you. Barb Burkett, did you get that motion?
Yeah, I have the motion to approve the project as proposed with this condition that all of the details are subject to staff approval, including and specifically including that the east-west brick returns are to be extended per staff direction, as Mr. Weber said, on both sides.
Okay, is that everybody's understanding of the motion before us? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Commissioner Robinson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber, do you vote yes or no?
yes.
Commissioner Killeen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
The chair abstains from this vote. The motion carries. Thank you, commissioners. And congratulations, UIC, wherever you are. Commissioners, we now move into a different part of our meeting where we hear appeals of denials. And as usual, we will ask that people who speak and present evidence do so to build a record and that their testimony be offered under oath. Calling the first appeal, which is 1118 Destrean Street in Hyde Park.
That's me.
Okay, the staff will begin first, and then we'll hear from the appellant.
I'm Andrea Gagan with the Cultural Resources Office, and I swear to tell the truth. This is some of you might recognize this from last month. This is an appeal of the Preservation Board's denial, as the windows do not comply with the Hyde Park Historic District standards. Ms. Moomin contacted us right after the board meeting last month and said she had an emergency and couldn't make it. So she appealed again, which goes to the Preservation Board. Next. This is in the Hyde Park Certified Local Historic District near 14th and Destrehan. Next. This is a older photo of the building. As you can see, it has segmental arch windows. Unfortunately, the building had a fire and all of the windows were destroyed, and including and a lot of interior of the building itself, I believe. And in her appeal, the owner said that with the fire, they didn't have adequate insurance to cover the cost of everything to rebuild the wooden windows, which these were with the arched windows, are $932 a window plus taxes and installation costs, which I believe she said came to about $1,200 a piece. There's two options for replacement that she has talked about. One is a vinyl window, which in addition to not being the right shape, are not an approved material under the Hyde Park Historic District standards. And the other option was a wood window with a square head, which still doesn't meet the Historic District standards in the shape of the window, but wood in material. Next. It's just some context. I think that's it. So basically, the vinyl windows wouldn't comply in shape or material, and the wood windows that she proposed would comply in material but not shape. The Cultural Resources Office recommends that the Preservation Board uphold the Preservation Board's denial as the windows do not comply with the Hyde Park Historic District standards.
Is that everything you wish to introduce for your presentation?
Yeah,
the record?
and sorry, forgot to do that. Yes, I need to know enabling ordinance 64689 as amended by 64925. The Hyde Park ordinance 57484. The agenda, the PowerPoint presentation, and Ms. Newman's appeal letter.
Thank you. And I was probably dozing at the time. Did you say your testimony was the truth?
Yes, I did.
Great, thank you. Questions for
Mr. Chairman, Andrea, which windows were specifically denied? Are we speaking of the vinyl and the wood or just the vinyl?
They were both denied because
Oh.
technically neither one of them meet the historic district standards.
Okay.
And it's just the 5 front windows.
further questions from commissioners? Okay, thank you, commissioners. Let's hear from the appellant. Rochelle, that's you.
Okay. Actually, the windows are more expensive than what we had originally thought. The arch windows are $932.
Just to make this official, let me interrupt you for 1 second, just to make it official. Tell us your name and tell us that the testimony you're going to give us is the truth.
My name is Rochelle Mookman and my testimony is true.
Thank you. Proceed again.
Okay, so the windows are actually $932 for the arch windows. And that does not include installation. Installation is $400 to $500 per window. This is for the materials from I got some echoing, so I have to move to another location. I'm sorry. I'm moving real fast.
This is a little bit like the Blair Witch Project. You're making me a little dizzy here.
All right, so it says here for the historic double hung windows, for 5 windows, they're $931 each. And that is for the arch top, and the rectangle top is actually $532 each. These are wooden windows, but that does not include taxes or installation. Installation is actually $400 to $500 per window. So that is for the windows that you guys are saying that is required of me. But if I was to get the regular vinyl windows, those windows are only like $300 each. So we're talking about per window, let's see, $1,431 for each window versus $300 for the rectangle top. I'm sorry, the arch top. And for the rectangle, just square ones, those are, and these are all wooden, those are $532 just for the windows now. That's not installation. But if I was to get the vinyl windows are only $300 each, and that's installed. I feel like I'm like going on and on, but I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying.
I think we do. The windows that are compliant are much more expensive, both to install and to purchase. Is that correct?
That is correct. And that didn't even include taxes. So if I was to just estimate for the for the archway windows, for each window, we're literally talking about probably about $1,600 per window versus, and that's installed, versus being installed with the vinyl window is $300.
And is it your testimony that this constitutes a financial hardship for you?
It absolutely is, because the building is burnt up and I'm trying to put it back.
Okay, could you take us a little bit through the reasons why it constitutes a financial hardship?
Because I don't have the money to do everything that I need to do in the building anyway. And if I was to spend, let's say, $7,000 on windows, I got a building with windows, but I don't have walls or floors or doors.
Was there an insurance settlement on this?
There was, but
What
it's
was it
not
for?
enough to cover everything that needs to be fixed. Plus, I had to spend some of the money to just live during COVID. So I'm sorry, but I don't even have all the money that I had in the first place. But it just wasn't going to be enough, regardless of the fact, to spend all of that money just on windows, which is about 7,000. Wait, no, let's see. 15 times 5 is what? 40? No.
$7,500.
$7,500 versus 5 times 3 is $1,500. So I'm trying to put the building back. There's not a lot of houses on that block right there. You've seen the pictures. There is no house on the side of it. There is another house on the other side. And then in front of the building, there's no houses on the lot in front, except like there's a house that's like back somewhat. But it's kind of like a derelict area right there where the house is sitting. And I'm really trying to put this thing back so that we can keep the neighborhood nice.
Commissioners, have we got questions for the appellant? Commissioner Killeen?
Well, this financial hardship, I don't know what we're requiring now for folks to prove that. So it's more of a question for staff, or are you, Mr. Chairman? Are we requiring tax returns or something to prove financial hardship?
I think it's up to the appellant to introduce what evidence she wants to demonstrate a financial hardship. So far, we have her testimony that the insurance settlement, which she did not mention an amount for, is insufficient to completely fund a project that she has not given us an estimate for.
Okay. So ma'am, would you be willing to divulge any more information about that insurance settlement or any paperwork to prove your financial hardship case?
Well, my taxes can prove my financial hardship case, but really, I don't know, either way it goes, the entire project itself is an ongoing project. And so it's a burnt up building that I'm trying to put back together. I don't know if showing my taxes is actually going to show a financial hardship. I don't know if divulging the information about how much money I got is going to divulge anything either, because it's really, at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to work on the building a little bit by little bit. And I don't actually have a number to say it's going to cost me $300,000 to put the house back together, or $50,000. I don't have an estimate of what it's actually going to cost, because I really don't know. This is my first time trying to deal with a burnt up house. And so I'm just trying to put it back together. But as far as the finances, if I showed you my taxes and said I made $50,000 last year, which I have that, I mean, is that going to say that I can afford $7,500 worth of windows? I mean, we're just talking about the entire project, and it's, $300 versus $1,500 per window. And then don't forget, I got to do everything else in the building.
Right.
And all the rest of the windows.
Commissioner Killeen, have you got more questions?
No, ma'am. I appreciate you divulging what you did. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes, it seems to me another factor in financial hardship might be the after repair value. And I'm thinking about this because I have a friend who lives on North Park Place, and she's put a lot of money into her building, and a very nice single-family home on the block recently sold for only $60,000, and she was crushed because she needs good comps to continue to finance the renovation on her building. Hyde Park's a struggling neighborhood in that regard, and the applicant has a recent appraisal of the property. I'm kind of curious about I think anybody who's putting this kind of money into a building in Hyde Park is facing the possibility of doing everything right. It means you're probably spending more money than the building's going to be worth in our real estate market due to the chronic undervaluation of North St. Louis. So I don't know if you have an appraisal, a recent appraisal of the building before the fire, or if the insurance is required, a appraisal of after repair value.
Actually, the building was appraised before the burn up, and it was $18,000. That's what it appraised for.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's it. And I do want to make mention that I did get an offer on someone purchasing the building. They offered me $15,000. So this is a building. This is a building that I care about. So I just want to say that I don't plan on selling. I plan on keeping the building. But you do make a great point. Once I finish putting all this money into the building, I'm definitely going to be upside down, period. And like I said before, this is a derelict area here. There's no buildings in the front of the building. There's one on one side there's only one building on the side of this building, and there's no building on the other side. And in the front, there's no buildings. It's just a lot. And then there's like a bar down the street there as well. There's a bar. So for the most part, there's 3 houses on the street. Next to an alley. There's an alley and a bar and 2 other houses on the street.
Commissioners, further questions? Ma'am, do you have anything else you'd like to introduce for the record?
No, I'm just saying that I just really can't afford it, and I am going to be upside down, but I do want to, I want to put the building back together, just struggle and do it. So, I mean, $7,500 for a building that's only appraising at 18, it appraised at 18,000 before it burnt up. And like I said, I did have somebody to give me an offer of 15,000 on it to purchase it, but I just want to put it back together. So
have you ever rehabbed a house before?
Yes.
Okay. So you know what you're doing.
I do, but I have never rehabbed a burnt up house. So I'm expecting that I'm going to probably be dealing with some stuff that I don't even know about because it's burnt up, but I have rehabbed some houses before, yes.
Great.
I do know what I'm doing.
I do not see anybody signed up to testify in the chat on this subject. The recommendation of staff is that the Preservation Board uphold the Preservation Board's denial as the windows do not comply with the Hyde Park Local Historic District standards. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, before a motion's offered, do you mind if I asked a question of staff?
I do not mind.
Thank you very much. Staff, what's the lesser of 2 evils with these windows that she's looking at? I mean, if we approve, if we overturn your denial, I suppose wood would be preferred over the vinyl.
Yes.
That's right. And then going back to the owner, is that a financial hardship for you to put in the wood also?
It is. There is a lesson of 2 evils here other than the vinyl. If you just you're not going to go no to the vinyl. There is the arch top windows, And then there's the rectangular windows. So the arch top windows are basically $400 more than the square windows. So if I couldn't get the $400, if I could get just the rectangle top windows instead of the archway windows, that would save $400 per window.
And that's the wooden straight top.
Yes, that would be the wooden windows.
And that would work within your budget.
Well, nothing is going to work within my budget, but it would be the lesser of two evils.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Allen, would you like this to be your first motion?
Yes.
Okay,
I move that the Preservation Board overturn the Preservation Board's denial.
is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner Allen?
I just feel like we have this rare applicant, someone who wants to preserve a building in Hyde Park that has sustained a fire. And I think if this project doesn't continue, this building may not exist in 3 or 4 years. And the spirit of this ordinance, I think, is to save the building. And that's, to me, the lesser of two, and final windows go back.
So Commissioner Allen, are you saying that deny that our own denial or overturn it, but are you giving any specifics on the windows that would that she could use?
No, are we allowed to do that at this point in the appellate process?
Well, somebody has to amend the motion that's on the floor.
Thank you, Commissioner Weber. Let me answer the questions directed at the chair. The answer is you can make the motion the way you want to make it, Michael. If it's out of order, Barb will tell us.
Right. Okay. Well, I stand by my motion.
Okay.
I would propose that we add to that motion. So this woman has direction on what she could put in. So that it either be the vinyl or the square top windows. So she has direction coming from our board. Otherwise, she won't know what to do.
Or, you know, a standard condition is to work with staff as to those approval of those materials. That's also often done.
I will amend my motion then to move that we overturn the Preservation Board's denial and direct the into work on reviewing suitable wood windows with staff.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
So the motion is to overturn. Okay, I'm sorry. I just got
The motion is to overturn the board denial and really to treat this again as a preliminary review in which the applicant would work out details with staff. Is that accurate, Commissioner Allen?
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes, I believe I heard staff say that there are 2 ordinances that apply here about vinyl windows and the square top windows. Did I hear correctly?
Not 2 ordinances, but the vinyl windows do not meet the historic district standards in the shape or the material.
And
The
what
wood
about
window, the wood square tops would only not meet it in the shape.
Okay.
Commissioner Robinson, if you think by appearing twice on this Zoom call, you're going to get to vote twice, you are correct. Is there any further discussion? Okay, commissioners, hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Commissioner Richardson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber, do you vote yes or no?
No.
Commissioner Allen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And Commissioner Robinson, do you vote yes or no?
I am yes twice.
Okay, is one of you voting yes and the other voting but or what?
One is voting yes and one is abstaining.
Yeah, yes, overturns a denial previously issued by the board, and it sends this appellant back to Cultural Resources staff to figure out how to get windows into the burned out building as she restores it. It does not hold her to the district standards.
Did Commissioner Robinson vote yes? Previously, I thought I heard his vote, but I just want to.
I'm sorry, I did not hear his vote and I was waiting for it.
His vote was yes, though there may have been an echo since he was still on his phone while at his computer.
The chair abstains on this vote. Barb, I count 4 yeses and 1 no. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, then the appeal is upheld and the previous ruling of the Preservation Board is overturned. Thank you very much. Give me a second with the agenda here. Okay. Agenda item D, 5802 Waterman.
Yes, and I am Andrea Gagan, and I still swear to tell the truth. This is an appeal of a staff denial, and it was deferred from last month's meeting. I wanted to enter into the order or the record enabling ordinance 64689 as amended by 64925. The Stinker to Bolivar, Catlin Tract, Parkview Historic District Ordinance 57688 as amended by 70821. The agenda of the PowerPoint presentation, and then the neighborhood emails and letter from the email from the neighborhood.
Okay, so we have an existing record of this appeal already, do we not?
Yes.
And you're just reminding us. At the point that we deferred it to give the homeowner time to gather community consultation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Commissioners, is it okay if we start there?
I don't know that all of them were there.
Yes.
Well, every commissioner has reviewed the minutes of this meeting and has approved them.
That's true.
Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Yes, thank you. I unfortunately did not get all 700 signatures like I promised you. But I did get, I think, 7 or 8 of my closest neighbors. I do have apartment buildings on either side of me. So 7 or 8 of my closest homeowners. And then also, I'm gonna have to look at her title, the Historic District Review Committee for Skinker to Bolivar Community Council approval to keep the window wrappings as they currently are right now. And I can go through my whole spiel of why I want to keep them or why I should be able to keep them as they are. But like you said, the minutes are there, so I can leave it at that if that works.
That's true. I'm just to clarify, you are still under oath from last time. Is that correct?
I am, and I swear to tell the truth.
Have you told the truth in every matter in the last month while you've been waiting for us?
I mean, I had to.
Fair enough. Commissioners, questions for the appellant?
We have copies of these. I'm looking through.
Yes, it should be in the email that you received.
Okay, looking through that now. Thank you.
Commissioners, I'll give you just a minute to check your email.
And another question for the owner. Did you talk to the alderman?
I did not. Andrea gave me the name for the community council member and told me that was the person I really needed to talk to.
Okay, thank you.
Has everybody reviewed their email? Okay. Commissioners, the recommendation from the Cultural Resources Office is that we uphold the staff denial and the window wrapping as it does not comply with the Skinker de Bolivar Historic District standards. Despite that recommendation, or considering it, do I hear a motion? Commissioner Richardson?
I move that we overturn the staff denial of the window wrapping and grant a variance to allow the window wrapping.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Well, she did what we asked. She got proof from the neighbors, so I'm satisfied.
Further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Commissioner Richardson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Weber, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
The chair abstains on this vote. I count 5 yeses. The appeal is upheld and the staff denial is overturned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioners, good work. Moving on. 4069 Flad is the next appeal.
That's not the right picture. That's not the right photograph. But that's not really the side of the house we need to look at anyway. This is 4069 Flad Avenue.
Let me stop you there for 1 second. What is the address?
It's 4069 Flad Avenue.
Okay, proceed. Sorry, thank you.
And I still swear to tell the truth. And then I need to enter into the record the enabling ordinance 64689 as amended by 64925. The Shaw Neighborhood Historic District Ordinance 59400, the agenda, the PowerPoint, and the presentation. As you see, this is at the corner of Flad and Thurman Avenues. Next. And then this is the site plan showing the existing porches, the site of a future deck, which is not included in this application. And then the orange is indicating where the fencing would be placed. Now, one of the fences has already been erected without a permit, and it is on the east side of the property. Next. And here you can see that fence. It is a horizontal fence, which is not a problem under the Shaw Historic District standards, as it just says it has to be wood. And the 8-foot fence, the other 8-foot fence, and the problem is that it's 8 feet tall, and the Shaw Historic District standards only allow 6 feet. Also, the handrail that is currently on the porch, the existing porch, would be the same material as the fence. So it'd be a horizontal guardrail, which is not in keeping with the historic district standards either. And it would extend over there basically to hide the deck that they are proposing to build at a later date. You can kind of see that here. The top shows it with the fence and the area extending over the garage. Now, it's kind of a little bit misleading because there is actually more enclosure above or underneath that roof. So there's not going to be a huge amount of clear space between those two, as you can see there. The bottom portion kind of shows a blown out version showing how the 8-foot fence would hide the deck behind it. The other issue is, in our view, is that this is going to basically, it sits up top of approximately 4-foot retaining wall, that's painted black currently. And so putting another 8 feet on top of that is going to create a giant 12-foot black wall at the street, which we don't really think is compatible with the historic district. As I said, the part of the fence was erected without a permit. The existing proposed height of the fence is 8 feet, which exceeds the height allowed under historic district standards. The extension of the fence to serve as a handrail for the rear porch is not appropriate for the historic district. And the wall, the 8-foot fence on top of a 4-foot retaining wall will create a barrier at the sidewalk. Based on these preliminary findings, the Cultural Resources Office recommends the Preservation Board uphold the director's denial as the fence does not comply with the surrounding neighborhood historic district standards. This is just some context across Flad from the building. Any questions?
Questions, commissioners? Okay, thank you. Let's hear from the appellant.
Oh, Chairman, I believe Mr. Weber had his hand raised, his actual hand.
His actual, okay, I see it now. Thank you. Commissioner Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know when the appellant can answer this, but I'd like to know two things. One, the disadvantage of having a 6-foot fence, and two, why the initial fence was put in without a permit.
Usually we'll wait to ask questions of the appellant until after they have presented, but I'm sure they will keep it in mind as they do present now. Any further questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So,
Commissioner?
so I don't read the ordinance as saying that you can't have a 4-foot wall with a 6-foot fence.
No, there isn't anything specifically in the standards that say you can't do that if it was 6 feet. I think it's more of, and if it wasn't directly on the wall, or if it wasn't going to be all a big black wall, I think it would be more in keeping with the historic district as far as compatibility. But yes, technically there's nothing in the fencing standards that don't allow that.
Okay, and isn't there elsewhere in Shaw, are there walls with 6-foot fences on top of them?
There are. I would say they're not all normally painted the same color. And in a lot of cases, we did get them to move them directly off the wall.
Got it. And did you ask the applicant if they were willing to do that here, or?
No, I hadn't, because I think in their case, it's going to be difficult, because seeing as how they're wanting to use that as, if they were approved for what they were proposing, they're wanting to use part of that fence as their handrail for the porch, which complicates moving it back. And also, if they're planning to build their deck there also, that also complicates that.
Got it. Thank you.
Commissioners, further questions? Mr. Kalina, are you raising your hand or waving a pencil?
Oh, I had an itch on my eyebrow there, Mr. Chairman. Sorry about that.
Okay. Itches are allowed. Okay, let's hear from the appellants.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Andrea, for that introduction, and thank you for your questions so far. First, I'd like to apologize for.
Actually, but before you apologize,
Yes.
tell us who you are.
I was telling myself, I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget. I'm going to say my name, and I'm going to swear to tell the truth. My name is Scott Mitchell. This is my
I'm Erin Curran.
wife, Erin Curran, and I'll speak for both of us when I say we swear to tell the truth in our testimony.
But I might need to say it. I swear as well.
There we go.
To tell the truth.
Barb Burkett, is that satisfactory?
I think it is.
Okay.
Thank you. So I want to address one of the questions immediately. It's simply due to my ignorance that I installed the fence here without a permit, and the fact that it's 8 feet tall. I had done some preliminary looking at the ordinances a year or two ago when I started planning all this, and I saw the St. Louis City rules allow for a backyard fence of 8 feet and didn't see anything about getting a permit. I was replacing a fence that was already there, and it just didn't occur to me. So I began building my fence, and of course it got noticed because it's 8 feet tall and we live on the corner. So that's the reason why the first fence was built before applying for a permit, and I apologize for that. I can move forward to the question regarding why a 6 foot fence would be inadequate. If you look at the images here, this is showing the proposed 8 foot fence, and we do intend to build a deck in that.
Replace.
There was a deck there before, but replace the deck that is shown there in the lower picture. And when the time comes to apply for the deck, of course, I'll be abiding by whatever rules may exist for the handrail that's inside the fence there. But based on the height of everything, if the fence is only 6 feet tall, the deck and a short portion of the handrail will be visible above the 6 foot fence. And I don't know if there's any better word than goofy. It's not a cohesive look. It just makes things look off and not as nice and finished, cohesive and upscale as we'd like to contribute to the Shaw neighborhood. Additionally, a privacy fence's job is to provide privacy. And when we're on that upper patio there, the 6 foot fence, it's only about 2 feet up from our feet. So standing there on our patio, everyone can see from our kneecaps all the way up. So the privacy fence doesn't really serve its purpose as a privacy fence.
As well, we have dogs and we like to be good. Oh, sorry. We want to be good neighbors and we want to keep them from being on a corner lot, seeing all the passerbys and our dog barking and attacking them.
She makes a great point. A 6 foot fence with a handrail visible above it. This little guy who you may be able to see on the video. Well, maybe you can, maybe you can't. Our little Boston Terrier there. Boston Terror is more like it. Would surely be sticking his head through the handrail right over the fence and barking his silly little head off at every person that walked by, not to mention the possibility of falling through and being harmed. That's really everything, other than the fact that there's another 8 foot fence 2 blocks that way on the corner. That's effectively our reasoning for why we request the decision be overturned.
Yeah, and so on the at 4100 Russell, and it's 2 blocks.
2 short blocks.
2 short blocks north of us. There is a building corner side that has an 8 foot fence. So we saw that as well, and we like the height. So we made some mistakes, and we apologize.
Yeah.
Scott and Erin, was it your testimony that one of the reasons you want the fence is so that your dog doesn't fall on people?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. I take that point.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioners, questions for the appellants? Michael?
Yes, and I don't know if, I guess the standards never anticipated this question of a Boston Terrier falling on a pedestrian. But my question for the appellate here is that when I read the staff recommendation and it mentions a violation letter being sent. Prior to that letter being sent, did you know that you lived in a local historic district, A? And if so, B, did you know that fencing was regulated by that ordinance for that district?
Question A, or question A, yes, I knew I lived in a historic district. Question B, I did not realize that fence heights would be different based on the St. Louis city standards, neighborhood by neighborhood. That didn't occur to me. No, sir.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Further questions from commissioners? Okay, hearing none. Let's see, check the chat. Is there anybody here who signed up to speak on this matter? Okay, I don't see anybody either. Good. Commissioners, the CRO recommendation is that we uphold the director's denial as the fence does not comply with the Shaw Neighborhood Historic District standards. Consonant with that or opposed to that? Commissioner Richardson, have you got a motion?
I move that we overturn the director's denial and allow them to keep the 8-foot fence that they have on the west side, and that they be allowed to build up to a 6-foot fence on the east side and work with staff to try to set it back or come up with other design details that make staff happy.
Is there a second to that cheerful motion?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Am I allowed to ask a question at this point?
No, sorry.
Okay.
The dog could, but you may not.
So if I could interject, it looks like we've got a motion and second in, but you know, we did something last month which worked out pretty well. That young lady was just here. We allowed her to go back to the neighborhood and get some feedback. Could that be a possibility here? I didn't hear anything about the neighbors hating or loving this thing.
Let's see what happens to the motion.
Okay.
Further discussion? Hearing none. I'm going to call a roll. Commissioner Richardson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, do you vote yes or no?
No.
Commissioner Weber, do you vote yes or no?
No.
Commissioner Allen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
The chair abstains on this vote, counting 3 yeses, 2 nos, and the appeal is upheld. Thank you all very much. Commissioners, do we have any other business? Hearing none. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members, staff. Good night.
Thank you.
I don't get it either. So.
Yes.
Pardon me. Am I able to ask a question now? Because it's yes. I must admit that I don't fully understand. Thank you very much. I must admit that I don't fully understand the motion that was put forth. It sounded like an 8-foot fence on one side and a 6-foot fence on the other, but I didn't understand which side was intended for which.
Staff will get with you and clarify it.
Thank you. I think I'll hear from Meg then, is that right?
Either myself or Ms. Gagan.
Thank you very much, very much.
And congratulations and pat the dog.
Thank you all very much. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Oh, on my thing,
ma'am.
is somebody supposed to be talking to me about what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yes.
Okay,
Either Ms. Lestow or one of her staff will call you.
okay, all right, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
And thank you for your patience.
Oh, no problem. Hopefully I can get the house done.
And well, I mean, good. The reason I asked you the question during the meeting was it seems to be a daunting task. And, you know, there are some staff resources and people with some experience who may be able to help you with it, or may be able to help you identify resources available from the city of St. Louis.
I'm just hoping that it doesn't take 30 years to get it done, to get it back up and running. You know, the longer it takes, the more you kind of feel like, oh my God, am I gonna live through this thing?
I hear you.
Yeah,
I will
so
only say
renovations like
if it
that.
takes 30 years, you'll be back in front of us again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope they have something, because this is I couldn't believe when I heard the price of $1,500 per window as opposed to $300.
You are doing a good thing. I just want to make sure that you can get your project done, and that and that it doesn't take you completely under also.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.